We're starting late today. We appreciate everybody joining us. We would ask if you have any type of a cell phone, if you please put it on silent or vibrate. Right now, we're only scheduled to meet, including today, 3 more times this calendar year. We're meeting today. We're meeting a week from today. We will not meet on the 26th because that's a county holiday based upon how Christmas falls. We are going to meet on the 28th, which is a Thursday at 10 a.m. Among other things, we will be adopting the proposed county budget, but any other year-end business that we have to wrap up. So we have 3 meetings left, again, including today. I asked my 2 colleagues if either of them or both of them would like to chair one of the meetings. And my friend Brian Burek said he would be glad to chair today's meeting, and my friend Loretta Spilvogel said she would be glad to run and chair next Tuesday's meeting. So what I'm going to do, and I never use a gavel, it's sitting way back there, but I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Burek, and he will convene and run today's meeting, and I appreciate you doing that, Brian.
Thank you, Commissioner Vogler. Everybody please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You can be seated. Ask our Deputy Chief Clerk to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Burek?
Present.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Thank you. In a moment, we'll have public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board may do so for up to 5 minutes or so. If you do choose to address the board regarding any county business, please state your name for the record. Item number 2 is row officer reports and comments. We have none present. Most of them were here this morning for the salary board meeting. So we'll move on to public comments. Any questions or comments this morning from the public? Hearing none, we'll move on to fiscal and contractual. We have multiple repository properties. The first one is a resolution for discussion and possible approval. Repository property number 11. 010200.
Get to that. That should say Elwood City.
Okay, the first resolution, Vanessa, what number would this be?
This will be 461.
Resolution 2023-461. The board is authorized to execute the bid acceptance form, accepting the bid made by 2 VIN Home Improvements in the amount of $808 for repository property located at 400 13th Street and having a parcel ID number 11-010200 in Elwood City Borough. As customary, the procedure was a letter was sent to the municipality and the school district informing them that all bid requests must be returned in 60 days or it would be deemed approved. Elwood City Area School District did not return it, but Elwood City Borough Council did return and they did approve the bid. So at this time, I would accept the motion for approval of Resolution 461.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Burek?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have 4 additional repository resolutions that have been rejected by the municipality. All 4 of them from the city of Newcastle. So that would be resolutions 462 for property located at 827 Harrison Street, 463 for property again in the city of Newcastle at 415 Sheridan Avenue, resolution 464 at 415 East Sheridan Avenue. Two different people bid on that same property. And then resolution 465 for property located at 225 Pearson Street. If the board doesn't mind, all four of these have been rejected by the city of Newcastle. The first one, the bid was withdrawn by the bidder. The second one, the property is on that 415 Sheridan Avenue, is on the demolition list. And the final one at 225 Pearson Street was rejected by the city. It's considered a dilapidated property. Is there any objection to voting to reject those four resolutions, 463 up through 462 up to and including resolution 465 to reject those bids?
I have no objection, and I'll move for those four resolutions that we vote to reject.
And I have no objections putting them all together, and I will second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to reject these four bids in the city of Newcastle for repository properties as listed because the city of Newcastle rejected it. And as Commissioner Vogler has explained previously, for a property to be sold out of repository, both the county, the school district, and the municipality where it resides must all approve it. So in this case, since the city has rejected them, the county will likewise reject the bids. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll on the motion to reject those four resolutions.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
We are voting no.
Voting to reject. The yes vote is to vote to reject.
Yes. That's not normally how we do that. Is that normally how we do that?
Typically, it would be no votes.
It would be no votes. We are not voting to, we have the motion should be to whether to approve or not approve. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The
They've
motion
already
was,
rejected, yes.
I suggested the
My
motion be
apologies.
a bid, but you're correct. The resolution is
This-
written to
yes.
authorize them. So let us clarify. The motion is to
the
authorize.
well, the resolution actually says defeated. If you look, the ones that are rejected, I always put defeated. That's how the city, usually how the city does it. The one that is approved says approved, the resolution.
But we have to vote no.
The first resolution I have,
We vote yes to approve.
Right.
The next four ones we vote, the next four
it
we
says
should
to
vote
accept the
no.
bid.
So we say no to the next four.
Okay, so just so the record reflects, the motion is to approve and accept the bid. That was your intent, Mr.
That's fine.
Vogler?
I'll move that we, on between 462 and up through and including 465, I'll move that they be accepted.
Okay, so to be clear then, a no vote, and you're second that motion.
Yes,
You're clear on the motion. And so a no vote is to reject the bid.
yes,
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
no.
Commissioner Beer,
No.
Commissioner Vogler.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you all for that clarification. There's no bids or proposals to advertise or receive. The warrant registers. You apologize. Usually I take time before the meeting, but we've been tied up since early this morning in salary board. I'd like to have a few minutes, please, and give my colleagues a few minutes to look over the warrant registers dated December 5th and December 7th, 2023. So give us just 2 minutes to look them over, please.
Seeing nothing out of the ordinary, I will make a motion to approve both warrant registers.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Any comments, questions? I just had one question, maybe the county administrator. Taser International,
Yes,
you know what that check was for?
I do. They needed new tasers. Ours are outdated and no longer supported by the company, so.
Those were for probation office?
Probation office.
Okay. I have no other questions. Any other discussion? Please call the roll to approve the warrant registers as listed.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item of business, under minutes and correspondence, we have the minutes from last week's meeting on December 5th, 2023. Like a moment to look them over, please.
I do have a comment on the minutes.
Go ahead, Mr. Bowden.
Oh, actually, I think it's been taken care of. We noted last week what days the commissioners will not meet in 2024. And it's been clarified that including those dates would be the 24th of December. Courthouse will be closed. That's Christmas Eve holiday, so the commissioners will not meet. But that's noted in the minutes, so we're caught up. So thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 5th, 2023 meeting as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Any other comments, questions, or corrections to the minutes? It looked good to me. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Right, presentation of written communications. We have just one this week. Last week we had a lengthy list. This is from Cunningham Funeral Home and Crematory Incorporated at 2429 Wilmington Road, Newcastle, PA. Attention commissioners, we are writing to inform you that the R. Cunningham Funeral Home and Crematory Inc. has filed our application with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection Air Quality Unit on December 1st, 2023 for renewal of our state-only operating permit number 37327 for the cremation units. So this is just a renewal. I need a motion to accept and file the written communications.
So moved.
I'll second with a comment.
Go ahead.
I'd be remiss if I didn't note that this does involve the Cunningham Funeral Home out in Neshannock. And listed on the address is Roger Cunningham, who I'm sure many of you know. I was very good friends with his dad, Dick Cunningham, the late Dick Cunningham. He was a very nice man. But I have to say this. Dick used to say, at Cunningham Funeral Home, our slogan is, we put the fun in funeral. That would crack me up. So I had to say it. I apologize if I offended anyone. But thank you, Chairman Buick.
On that note, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Just
Okay.
hope that new Board of Commissioners has as much fun with you.
Yeah.
We'll move
Might be
down.
an adjustment for that.
Move down to reports, staff reports. We do have several county staff here. Anybody have anything? All right. If not, we'll move on to commissioner reports and comments. We rotate. This week, Commissioner Steelvogel can go first.
I will, in light of our extensive meetings this morning, I will defer any comments.
All right, I am next. Just three real quick things. First, I just want to note with a little bit of sadness, Frank Parrish, who was the owner and editor of the Wilmington Globe newspaper, passed away unexpectedly last week. I read the New Wilmington Globe. It's an online weekly newspaper based out of the New Wilmington area, but I read it weekly and always enjoyed Frank Parrish wrote a column every week. And didn't know the man personally, but by reading his columns, I had a lot of respect for him, and just wanted to note that's a great loss to the community. The Globe newspaper is going to go into hiatus due to his passing. So just want to extend my condolences to the family and note that he owned and produced a newspaper that covered the northern part of Lawrence County. Two other things since last week's meeting that are very noteworthy. Myself, along with the other commissioners, attended the Visit Lawrence County annual meeting last Friday at the Lawrence County, at the Scottish Rite Cathedral here in Newcastle. The staff of Visit Lawrence County gave an update over their activities over the past year, and I was able to give a brief talk on the county's upcoming 175th anniversary, which we will observe in 2024. And before the end of the year, I will make an additional statement with more details regarding that. But the committee's been working very hard on preparing to celebrate the county's 175th anniversary. And then finally, yesterday, I attended the full meeting of the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission. I went down to Pittsburgh to their new offices in the Strip District, and I got to see many of my fellow commissioners from around the 10 counties of southwestern Pennsylvania. It was a noteworthy meeting. My colleagues know this. The first part, 2 of their longtime staff members are leaving. Vince Valdez, the executive director, is retiring. And then Andy Wapple is also announced he's leaving. He got a new position in the private sector. And of course, they introduced the new executive director of SPC is going to be Rich Fitzgerald. He's leaving office at the end of this year as the Allegheny County executive after 12 years, but he has a great working relationship with commissioners in all of southwestern Pennsylvania. He has a good working relationship with our current governor of Pennsylvania and with the president of the United States. So I wish Mr. Fitzgerald well in his new position, and I hope SPC continues. They're working on, of course, their big item is the transportation plan for the Southwest Pennsylvania. They're also working on the broadband projects and workforce development and many other issues that are important to our region. So wish that organization well. Those are my comments. Mr. Vogler.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad you brought up Rich's name, Rich Fitzgerald's name. I think the SPC has made an excellent choice. In fact, Commissioner Spielvogel played a very important role as part of the search committee and the interviewing committee that undertook that process. You made a good choice. I got to know Mr. Fitzgerald. He would periodically come to CCAP meetings, our County Commissioners Association. And then for a number of years, he and I served together on the Regional Industrial Development Corporation's board of directors. And always found him to be very engaged. And the thing I think I respect most about him, he's able to work with both political parties.
Yes.
He's a Democrat, but he's able to, he's able to work with both parties. Let me just say that. And I think he'll do a very good job. The only other thing I'll note is that this coming Friday, the 15th, and this will be the 3rd year that this has taken place. At 9 o'clock, the Shenango, it's not the full choir. Oh, I should have written down what they're precisely. Chamber singers.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Chamber singers from the Shenango School District will come here at 9 o'clock up in the main lobby where you walk in the main entrance, and they'll perform holiday songs, Christmas songs. And this will be the 3rd year they've done it. And it's open to the public if you'd like to hear some really good music from some very talented young people. We're looking forward to hosting them once again. And we appreciate their joining us this Friday. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vogler and Commissioner Spielvogel. Okay, I'll move on to new business, new resolutions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa, I think we're up to resolution 466.
Correct.
All right, on the agenda for consideration are new resolutions. The first one, resolution 466, deals with the courts. It's a resolution for discussion and possible approval to enter an agreement with Paula Chalala Esquire. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 466?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
I believe in this case, Attorney John Bonjavingo previously had this contract. He can no longer fill that role since he's now the solicitor for Children and Youth Services. We did that recently. And so to fill that vacancy, the courts have recommended we execute this contract with Attorney Paula Chalala for her legal services. It shall be $28,000 per contract year to be paid in prorated fashion effective November 6, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or comments? My only question is that not to continue into 2024 or?
We re-up in January, all the contracted
Okay.
terms.
So the term is correct just for November 6th through December 31st of this year. And then all the courts will recommend new contracts in 2024.
My
Any
only
other
question was the 28,000, is that the same as all of the other contract council do make that amount? I just.
It's prorated for.
Program, right?
Any other
Okay.
questions or discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
thank you. Next resolution is for the Department of Public Safety. This will be Resolution 467. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that authorization is given to execute on behalf of the Lawrence County Department of Public Safety all documents related to the BeerCom service agreement. BeerCom will provide a one-year service agreement in the amount of $70,398 to be paid annually, commencing 2024, January 1 through December 31, 2024. Chairman of the board is authorized to sign all documentation. And this is for radios, repeaters, and cameras at the Department of Public Safety. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 467?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Strobel apologized. He had to go back up to the public safety building for a meeting. Otherwise, he would have been here.
Right.
He said if we do have any questions, he's happy to try to answer them if we would reach out to him. I'm okay.
Hearing no other discussion, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
thank you. Resolution 468 for consideration. The purchase of service agreement under provider Lawrence County Social Services shall be in effect for a period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Costs are incurred only to provider or service being used by the Lawrence County per the agreement, and authorization is hereby given to execute agreement with the following service provider, Lawrence County Social Services, Inc., at 241 West Branch Street, Newcastle, PA 16103. Since this is under children and youth, our director, John Bowd, is here. I'll ask, is there a motion? Well, let me have him introduce it, and then I'll see if there's a motion to adopt.
Good morning. Appreciate your time. Before you is a contract for nurturing parent. We were here previously and presented the contract for this fiscal year, but at the time, the rate sheet that was presented before the board was a rate sheet from a previous year. So the state has awarded them for that particular program $155,597. So today's resolution before you is to get this program funded at the level that the state is awarding them currently.
Thank you, Director Bowd. I noticed there's 3 additional resolutions for
Right.
CYS. Any objection to having him go through the next 3 and then vote on all 4 at one time?
No objection.
Right, so Resolution 469 is also Lawrence County Social Services. Can you give us a brief statement on that?
Yes, Brainwise, the same thing. This Brainwise was presented previously at a previous approved rate in the past fiscal year. Currently, the program is been awarded $75,000 for this current fiscal year by the state. And with making parenting a pleasure, the current state award for the current fiscal year is $17,304. Previously, when we were before the board, an old rate was presented and approved. And additionally, in previous fiscal years, we've come before the board with this particular provider and these services under the terminology, the Safe Parenting Program. We learned during a budget meeting with the state that OCYF does not look at nurturing parent Brainwise and making parenting a pleasure as one. They look at it as now 3 separate programs. So in years previous, this particular provider may underspend one of those program budgets and overspend another because it was previously viewed as just one total dollar amount. But moving forward, the state is not going to allow underfunding in one program and overspending in another. And so that's why we're before you on 3 distinct resolutions, each with their own budget amount.
Okay, thank you. That explains the three resolutions with the three programs run by Lawrence County Social Services. I'll note the fourth resolution for CYS, Resolution 471, is with Glade Run Lutheran Services out of Zillionople, PA. Is this a similar thing to adjust the budget based on the state fiscal year?
No, this is a new program, a program that has been in operation now for a few months. We were awarded funding starting January 1st for this program. So the first program year, the state awarded 6 months of funding. This is a family preservation program looking to keep single mothers with their children in lieu of children and youth taking custody and creating a scenario where mother and children are separated. Up through the first 6 months of this fiscal year, this program has been funded through other sources, and now they will move to, if approved, they will move on to our child welfare budget for the remaining 6 months of the fiscal year.
Any questions on that last resolution?
No,
Is this the program on the Fruit Mill campus?
Yes, it is, Commissioner.
Okay.
I appreciate Mr. Bout's explanations, and they make sense to me.
So I'll entertain a motion then for resolution 468, 469, 470, and 471.
So moved.
I'll second Loretta's motion.
Thank you both. Any other questions or comments on any of the four resolutions?
Yes, just, if I may,
Please.
thank you. Just in reference to the wave run programming, how many families do we have currently?
I believe currently 3.
3. And what is the capacity of the program?
6.
6. And we work diligently to get those families involved. And the idea of it is to keep the families together instead of separating them, placing them in foster care, kinship, or a group home setting.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Well,
There's also a referral meeting for the 4th today at 1 o'clock to 1:30.
that's right.
I'll just note the commissioners toured that facility earlier this year, and it's a very nice facility, and I'm glad it's being utilized, and I hope we continue to be able to benefit more families through that program. Any final comments or questions? Otherwise, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the four resolutions, 468, 469, 470, 471. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Buick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bout.
Thank you.
See you, Mike. All right, moving on to item number 7 under new resolutions. That would be resolution 472. The Board of Commissioners will allocate funds to the following grant applicant, district attorney, in the amount of $140,450. I will defer to Commissioner Spielvogel, who chairs the Opioid Advisory Committee. My understanding is the district attorney approached that committee, and that's what leads to this resolution today.
Yes, we did have a funding cycle go through. We do have other applicants that are being considered. Unfortunately, we have not received additional funding for it. The funds that are being awarded to if approval from the commissioners, being awarded to the DA's office are the funds that are currently available. We do expect our funding allotment by the 15th, which is just by the end of this week.
Yeah, I have 2 notifications. One says the 15th, one says the 18th we'll receive it. So I'm not quite sure which of those 2 dates, but this is out of the first tranche of money that was received that was not allocated towards a project at that point. So.
And my apologies, again, when you have the meetings happening that, just as in with prison board, when you have different bodies that you have to go through for approvals, we sometimes don't put those steps together correctly. So my apologies for us awarding those monies without making the recommendation from the Opioid Advisory Board to do that, and that is what this is correcting. So that the Opioid Advisory Board just, we make that recommendation, we're bringing it to the commissioners for approval.
The DA had submitted a
Yes.
purchase order, and it's being held and pending the outcome of this resolution, so.
Yes.
Thank you for that information.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 472? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second with a quick question.
Questions or comments? Go ahead.
Thank you. And I realize some of the work that the DA does has to stay somewhat confidential, but are you able to just give a thumbnail sketch of, if you're not able to, I
No.
understand. Okay, I accept that answer. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, one of the criteria under the opioid funding is prevention.
Yes.
And I believe the DA is working on the prevention side of this.
Right, and I would say to you that any program, any application that comes before the board has to fall in line with Schedule E is the bottom line with everything. So anything that moves forward from that point is either prevention, education, or recovery based. And this does fit one of those priorities.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, moving on to item number, let's see,
473.
Resolution 473. The next two, can we do 473 and 474 together? They are reappointing two people to the Conservation Board. Don Hoy from Wilmington Township and Bruce Badger from Wayne Township. Any objection to combining them?
No objection.
Or would you rather vote separately?
oh no, I'm in favor of combining.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolutions 472 and 473, reappointing those two individuals.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, you may recall that either last week or the previous week, we actually took action on these two gentlemen. But we have to make a technical correction. Mr. Hoy serves as a public director member, and those are terms that the state requires. He was originally listed as a farmer director, but this resolution is clarifying that Mr. Hoy is a public director member. And the same applies for Mr. Badger. He was listed as a farmer director, but when in fact he is a public director. So these are just making that correction.
Okay, clarifying the previous resolution's
Yes.
intent.
Yes, sir.
All right. It's been moved and seconded, correct?
Yes.
Any other questions or comments or discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
both those resolutions are adopted. So we are down to item number 10, and that would be resolution 474.
475.
Oh, I did 472 twice. I'm sorry. The last two were 473 and 474. We're now at
Correct.
475. Thank you for catching that.
Mhm.
This resolution would reappoint to the Redevelopment Authority of Lawrence County Board, Robert Donadio, Newcastle, PA, Neshannock Township, technically. Is there a motion to adopt?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Any comments, questions, or discussion?
Simply say he's been a good member to that board from everything I've heard from
Yes.
Amy and Kenny. He's a retired bank executive. And from what I'm being told, he brings a lot to the table.
Agreed.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, we have multiple resolutions to transfer funds since we're getting near the end of our fiscal year. This will be resolution 476, authorizing a transfer of $145.72 from the commissioners to Central Court HR Veterans. If you don't mind, I'll waive the, you want me to read the details?
I don't feel the need for them. We don't need to take them all together.
I would agree. These documents are available. If anybody wants to
Right.
see them, they can see
Absolutely.
the specifics.
You want to, okay, before we'll move on then to do all of the,
I'm okay with doing that, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay with doing that,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Resolution 477, transferring $1,374.80 from commissioners and courts to IT for a total of $1,374.80. Resolution 478, a transfer of a total of $5,000 from commissioners to the court-appointed attorneys. And Resolution 479, authorizing a transfer of $156.97 from the commissioner's contingency to various accounts that are short. And Resolution 480, transfer of $15,000 from maintenance to the courts. I'll entertain a motion. For approval of resolutions 476 up to and including 480 for the transfers as discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Again, just year end to pay things out of the line items. We have to move money from accounts that have excess funds to accounts that are short. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Item number 16, under administrative transfers, I'll read through them. If anybody has any questions or comments, please stop me. We will do one vote. Transfer from treasurer for materials and supplies to maintenance and repair for $1,000. Treasurer from various accounts to various accounts for a total of $7,927.38. Transfer for District Judge Amodi from contingency to gas for $300.
Down to the signature. Is that Judge Cartwright's signature? Or is mine out of order? Did you say 300?
I'm going by the agenda, says
Oh.
District Justice Amodi, but you're right.
My mistake.
That was my mistake.
Well, yeah, I
No, it is,
apologize.
I apologize, the agenda says Amodi, but the request is actually for District Judge Cartwright. Good catch, Mr. Vogler, from District Judge Amodi, from contingency to gas for $300. The next one is from Domestic Relations, total of $27,000. Register and Recorder, total of $2,200. From various accounts to various accounts for a total of $229.28. For District Judge Nicholson, contingency to equipment and maintenance for $300. From the jails, temporary part-time to equipment lease and rental for $7,000. I believe this is for the generator. As discussed at Prison Board, we're currently, until we get our current generator repaired, we're leasing a generator to make sure that the jail has power as a 24/7, 365 facility. The next one is to transfer the jails line item from temporary part-time to maintenance repairs for $1,500. CYS, from purchase of services to hauling refuse for $100. Commissioners, from travel and training to material supplies for $500. For our Staples account, from the purchase of needed material supplies. Public defender, from contingency to material supplies for $600. And finally, in the controller's department, from contingency to materials and supplies, the amount of $700. Is there a motion to approve the administrative transfers as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have 3 resolutions on the table, and I will see if there's any, the majority or all of the board wants to take any further action. First one, Resolution 2022-141, is a resolution for possible approval to designate the Lawrence County Economic Development Agency as the Industrial Development Agency of Lawrence County. Just some background, when I came on the board back in April of this year, this resolution was already on the table. A previous Commissioner Boyd had introduced this with some amendments. Just for some background, back in 2003, actually when I was on the Board of Commissioners, we did adopt a resolution naming LCDC as the official industrial development agency of Lawrence County. I believe Mr. Boyd wanted to amend that prior resolution. I would personally like to see this resolution removed from the table and acted upon, and then let it continue to carry over into next year. As you all know, and you were very involved, LCDC staff changed. They're now under the Forward Lawrence with the Chamber of Commerce, and they have a new executive director, Mr. Ben Bush, and he's done some internal reorganizing. I believe there's no need to adopt this resolution. I would like to remove it from the table for final action. Is there a second to that motion?
To take it off the table?
Yes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to remove from the table for action. Any comments or questions on that motion?
I have a comment on that. I would like to get a formal recommendation from our solicitor before we move on this. I don't believe that there's clarity on what we would be doing from that if we remove it from the table. And if we voting this down with amendments, without amendments, I think there needs to be further discussion on it, and that's why it needs to, I believe, remain on the table.
We did ask at a staff meeting the solicitor for his opinion, and he said there's a couple options we could consider.
Right.
Again, I'll respect the wishes of the majority of the board.
Out of respect for what Commissioner Spielvogel just requested, if you're willing to withdraw your motion, which would then allow this to stay on the table for the time being until we get that
Thank you.
formal recommendation, I would be willing to withdraw my second, but I don't believe I can do that until you withdraw the motion.
Out of respect for the commissioner, I'll withdraw my motion and we will leave it on the table for the time being. I would prefer to address it at next week's meeting so this just doesn't carry over to the
Right.
new board.
I agree.
I agree.
Agreed.
All right,
Yes.
I withdraw my motion
Yes.
and Commissioner Vogler withdraws the second. Resolution 2022-141 will remain on the table. The next resolution regarding Tremco Roofing and the roofing projects. It was my intent to ask to move her on the table, but we've been tied up in meetings the last several days and I haven't had a chance. I did get a list of other counties that Tremco Roofing has done projects on. I reached out to 2 other counties. I'm waiting to hear back. I just want to make sure they had a positive experience. So with due respect, I'd like to leave that motion or that resolution on the table until next week as well. Is that okay with both of you?
Yes. Was that ever assigned a number?
No,
I don't
was
believe
not.
that one.
Okay.
neither one,
No.
that one nor the
The
assessor.
upcoming one as well.
And then finally, there is a third resolution on the table regarding the assessment office. It's a resolution for discussion and possible amendment of the UPI ordinance.
Mhm.
I would like to vote on that resolution today. The assessor had approached the commissioners. The UPI ordinance sets a fee that's charged in the register recorder's office every time a parcel ID number is recorded in that office. And that fee has been set at $10 per recording since 2011. So it's been 12 years at that rate. 15 other counties around the state have adjusted that fee to $20. And that fee is paid, like I said, when there's a property transaction and the new deed has to be recorded in the office. That would create additional revenue for the county. And because this was discussed, I believe that additional revenue was presented in the proposed 2024 budget. Therefore, at the recommendation of our county chief assessor, and due to the fact that we have those funds, additional funds that would be generated in our 2024 budget, I would like to remove from the table assessment resolution. And what number would that be assigned?
Does it need a number? Do we give it a number when we're going to vote on it? I don't know.
My copy says 447.
That was not correct. That would have been what it would have been last week
Oh,
if we gave it a number.
okay.
So if you want to give it a number, it's gonna be 481.
So let's move it, I would say we move it off the table without a number because it would have a number. And then,
Is there a motion to remove from the table a resolution to amend the current UPI ordinance?
so moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded just to remove from the table this resolution. Any discussion on removing it from the table? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, now that it's on the table for consideration, I would like to entertain a motion for Resolution 481's approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions, or discussion?
You did a little further research, if I recall. You shared with me that some counties even charge $25. Is that
Yes.
correct?
It ranges from between $5 and $25 around the state. The majority charge either 10 or 20. We are currently at $10. But by adjusting this to $20, it'll create a small additional revenue stream for the county, which has already been put into the proposed 2024 budget.
Thank you.
And I believe any fee like that hasn't been adjusted in 12 years, the cost of doing business of everything has gone up significantly, and the county could put to good use that additional revenue. So I would recommend approval of the resolution. Any further? We did have a motion to adopt Resolution 481, correct? Hearing no other discussion, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. So we're going to have 2 resolutions on the table for next week's meeting. All right. Under ordinances, there's nothing for consideration. Under announcements, the next commissioners meeting will be held next Tuesday, December 19th at 10 a.m. in the commissioners meeting room. I'll also note, it's not listed, but tomorrow, December 13th at 12 noon, there'll be a meeting of the Lawrence County Planning Commission. That is open to the public. That will be held at the Crane Room in Shanty Township. Are there any other announcements from the board? Move on to public comments. Any questions or comments?
Sorry I'm late, I was at Shop with a Cop.
You look like you were dead. Were you running around the stores?
Well, I looked like I was all windblown at Walmart.
Welcome, Debbie, from Newcastle News to the meeting. Hearing no public comments, I will open it up for any final comments from the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Spielvogel,
Nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Vogler.
Appreciate your willingness to
Absolutely.
conduct today's meeting, and I noted that next week Commissioner Spielvogel will conduct the commissioners meeting. And I have your packet.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Buick.
You have
Thank
one from salary board too?
I have one upstairs.
And Mr. Vanasco? Ms. Bayless, anything else? Thank you for your patience as I chaired the meeting. I was a tiny bit rusty on a few of the things, but we got through it. And at this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Ayes have it, motion's carried. Meeting's adjourned at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you.
Wow, what a morning.
Well done.
Good to see you, Jim.
What's the annual salary board?
No, that's on January 2nd.
Okay,
That's one that's
this
required.
is another salary board,
by law.
an extra one.
This was advertised on Saturday.
Yeah. I knew about it, but I couldn't